Hi guys, welcome to the WSL Weekly show. Get your comments in, get your views in for me. I'll be joined by co-host Mark tonight. I'll be joined by Leicester City defender Ashleigh Plumptre. We'll be talking about all things Leicester City and the WSL over the weekend. If you haven't followed us already, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can find us at Leicester Fan TV. So if you're watching us now, join the debate. If you've got any questions for Ashleigh, be sure to get them in the comments. I'll get them on screen. As many comments as I can. Smash a like for me, subscribe. If you're watching on playback, we're live every day of the week. Monday for the Fan Zone show, tonight for the WSL Weekly show. The away Fan Zone show tomorrow. We'll be talking all things Napoli and looking ahead to the Brighton game. The pre-match show on Friday with Reedy. The Premier League predictions show from 6 p.m. With me and Tom at Peter's Pizzas. The watch along on Sunday and the aftermath show with Jamie 9:30 in the morning. So then, guys, let's get started.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. Hope everyone's well this evening. Let's get a few good evenings in. Mark Gatwood, hello. Ross, evening. Kane, hello. Evening, Fee. Hope you're well. Thanks for bringing the Leicester City Women's coverage to us. Yes, it was great to meet quite a lot of the squad on Sunday against Manchester United after the game. Very nice. Got a few photos as well. They're a great bunch of girls. Carlos, evening. Please, we'll talk about that tomorrow in the Away Fan Chat show. Not now. It's the women's show. Hello, Dan. Let's get our special guest in tonight then. Leicester City defender, Ashleigh Plumptre. Evening, Ashleigh. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Let's also get in Mark. How are you, Mark?
Pretty good. Hi, Ashleigh.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, not too bad.
So then, Ashleigh, you're a Leicester City fan. We spoke quite briefly about it at the weekend. How does it feel like playing for the Leicester City women and obviously watching the boys from the stands as well on the weekends? How different is it?
Yeah, it's I guess it's kind of surreal in a sense. I guess Sunday was for us, it was a big deal, not just for me, but I think playing the first game, like the WSL game at the King Power, was really exciting for us. I know we played against Charlton there last season, but it kind of had a different feel to it. Obviously now, one, with fans there, and two, obviously a completely different opposition. So when we played there the first time, to be honest, obviously King Power is an incredible stadium, but then when you add fans there, it takes the whole field to something completely different, you know. So I don't think any of us really expected there to be as many fans as there were. Like, nobody told us like how many people were going to be coming or anything. So when we actually walked out and when we were warming up, it was pretty cool to have so many people there. And obviously not just fans, but there was like little kids, you know, like for some of them it was probably like their first game. So that was really cool.
What's it like different to the men's game then? Obviously you're used to watching 32,000 fans in a stadium for the men's game. Obviously watching Leicester over the years yourself, how different is it to playing on the pitch in front of them fans?
Yeah, it's funny. I spoke to my mum after the game, and I said to her, it's funny how I walked out, and I remember going to, when I was younger, especially, I was able to go to more games, I guess, because our games didn't like coincide with the men's. So when we went out, I looked at where my mum and I would sit when I was younger, in the family stand, obviously. And yeah, to think that I could walk out there and obviously represent the club that obviously I've gone to support as a fan. I only feel like I reflect on it after it's happened, like when on the day, like obviously you just kind of concentrate on the game and you don't want too many things to overwhelm you, but it was a nice little thought that went through my mind before the game, and then obviously when I spoke to my mum about it, it was like, oh wow, that has just happened, and don't take it for granted at all.
How do you handle the nerves going from sort of a couple of hundred fans at your games sort of last season to all of a sudden 4,500 all screaming and wanting to see you perform? Did the nerves get to you?
Honestly, I'm a pretty nervous. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty nervous all the time when it comes to football. Probably put too much pressure on myself a lot of the time. So, but it's funny, I say that, but when we walked out, I remember like hearing the fans when we walked out to like for the lineup.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'm not really like this, but something came over me and I was like, I heard all the fans and a lot of like kids shouting. And I felt like obviously the fans are, I know it's a little bit cliche, but they are like the 12th player, so I kind of felt myself getting geared up for it, and I remember kind of like encouraging the crowd to keep going, because obviously I think the Man U fans were pretty good as well. I know there weren't as many of them, but they were quite loud, so I almost like wanted us to overpower them in a sense.
Obviously you led Leicester City out from the tunnel to the post on Gallop on Sunday. You was captain as well on the day, Ashleigh. How did that feel, captaining your club?
Yeah, do you know what? Again, I try not to think about it too much, just because I think it could become a little bit overwhelming. But I do know it is a huge privilege. And I think if I really thought about it too much before the game, it probably could have had the potential to stress me out, if I'm honest, because I know I understand it's a privilege, but it can add pressure if you think about how, like you can end up thinking about like how a captain is meant to act and what you should do. Like obviously it'll be nice for me anyway if I'm considered like a leader on the team. I don't necessarily need a title for that, but I think as soon as you add the armband and people talk about captaincy, it's a little bit I guess it's a little bit daunting, but I felt a lot of pride, and I think the reason I feel I put a lot of pressure on myself is it's the responsibility in a sense, because it's not just any club. I'm not just captaining like a random club. This is a club that I've been brought up to support. It's my city where I grew up, and for me it was a real privilege.
See you holding up that trophy as captain. What's it like for you then, Ashleigh? Obviously, Big Wes, captain of the football club, obviously retired last season. What's it like watching him for you to then put that armband and think, I can actually be like that sort of captain who can lead the team to greatness?
Yeah. Again, I'll be completely honest. I don't think I really thought about it like that. No. I think for me anyway, just as a person, I try and take like one game at a time. Yeah. I guess I don't want to like discredit myself, but I guess I'm appointed as like vice captain. Unfortunately, we had like Sophie Barker was injured, so it almost probably felt I felt a little bit more like I had even more of a responsibility, because I had to step up in a sense of, like Sophie Barker's out, she's injured, and she brings something that I couldn't bring or anybody else could bring because she's her. So what I didn't want to do is step into that role and try and be someone that I'm not. I guess I'm pretty like, as a person, I'm pretty like extroverted, you know, like, so I'll like every so often I'll gear people up and stuff, but I'm not. One thing I didn't want to do was like try and change my behaviors just because I knew I was wearing the armband. I just kind of wanted to be myself, and the only other thing that I had to be conscious of was making sure, like, it's funny, like when I like last season, I never really understood when captains like go and speak to refs and stuff, but I never did. It was almost like a responsibility, and I'm someone who, like, I'll get frustrated on the pitch, but I never really get in like arguments with anybody, and I'll never like get in an argument with a ref. But then when you're a captain, that's what I noticed is when a ref could make a poor decision or something doesn't really go your way, you have to almost like vocalize your thoughts, because that it doesn't just impact the game, it's impacting your teammates, you know. So you always have a sense of duty there, which probably before I didn't really think about, because I focus on my own game, and as a defender you try and direct the people around you. But when things are off the ball, like if it's not like football related, if people are getting in arguments, I don't really know how to solve it, because in my head what I say a lot is like when people get into like arguments with the ref and there's pauses in play, I'm always just like, stop talking, just play. But then sometimes I'm like, okay, when you're captain, you have to sort stuff out. So luckily there wasn't too much to sort out. But the one thing I did, I guess it's like inside access, but the ref kind of, like, I was frustrated with a call when I made a tackle and she gave a free kick, and at half time she was like nice, and I kind of could joke with her, but we were talking about, I'm like, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm like, ref, I've got long legs, I'm going to get the ball, but I'm obviously going to get the player sometimes as well. She's like, yeah, I've got long legs too. And I'm like, I literally, when we're walking back out after half time, I'm like, ref, look at the size of my feet. Obviously, I'm going to get something other than the ball as well. And she was like, yeah, I feel you. So I think that's the only way I can get a ref on my side. I'm not very good at like being intimidating in that sense.
No.
What made you decide to become a centre back?
Oh, do you know what? It was never my decision. That is a good question, because when I was in America, I grew up playing as a left winger. I cannot imagine playing there now. But then when I was in America, I went from left back to right back because our right back graduated and we needed somebody to step in. Yeah. I moved to right back and I loved it. Like, I loved right back more than I did left wing at the time, and I didn't want to move back. And then the year after that, one of our starting centre backs graduated, and we needed somebody to step in. We didn't have another centre back, and that was one position. I remember saying to my coach, I'm like, I do not want to go there. And the reason I said the reason I didn't think I could play there is because I didn't think I had the composure to play there when I was younger. I was like, in my head, the first thing I thought, and I told my coach this honestly, I'm like, if I mess up and a goal is scored solely because of my mistake, I don't know if I could recover from it. And I remember saying that to him when I was probably about 18, 19-ish. So I haven't really played. Actually, I could potentially, I think 19 turning 20. So I haven't really played centre back that long. Again, now I can't imagine playing anywhere other than, I can imagine playing fullback. I did like that, but I just see myself as a defender now. I just think also being at this level, I don't necessarily think I have what it takes to be a winger. I'm not that agile. I can run in a straight line. Like when you're younger, you can just kick and run. You can't really do that.
Ashleigh, let's talk about your career then. Obviously, your youth career started at Ashleigh Amateurs. You then went to Leicester at the age of 8. You spent quite a few years at Leicester, going through the youth ranks and stuff like that. You then went to Birmingham and Derby.
Wow, you've got your stats and everything spot on there. Yes. So I grew up in Melton Mowbray. Yeah. So while I say I'm from Leicester, I gotta be honest, I was brought up in Melton, so I'm not like a city girl. So I was brought up in Melton, played for Asperby from 4 until 8. And I remember going for trials with Leicester when I was 8. And at that point, I think my first year at under 10s, I could play for Asperby and Leicester. But then the second year, you had to pick. You couldn't like play for both. And I remember not wanting to leave Asperby. And then I was just pushed by my parents to be like, do you know what? You need to step up, try Leicester. And I did, and I enjoyed it a lot. But then I was there for a while, probably about 7 years. Because I think I moved on to Birmingham when I was about 14. So when I entered like the England youth setup, I needed to push myself a little bit more, be challenged. So I went to Birmingham, and I was only there. I loved it there. I really loved it there with it's funny, like Connie Schofield. She played on so she's just signed for us. Yeah. I played with her when I was at Birmingham. We're only talking the other day about that 1 year that we had. We had like Mark Skinner, who is obviously now the manager of Man U. So it was kind of nice. He came to me after the game and gave me, and I'm still close with his wife. So his wife, Laura Bassett, I used to play with her in Notts County as well. So it was kind of nice to, I don't know, women's football, the circle's kind of small. So it's nice to reminisce in that sense. But yeah, I was only at Birmingham for a year, coached by Mark, and I loved it there. The only reason I moved to Derby is because I was doing my GCSEs at the time, and I was doing my homework and studying in the car, and I didn't really, as much as I love football, school was more important at that age. So I moved to Derby, and it was closer, but then the level kind of dropped a little bit. So while it was good for me doing my GCSEs, again, I wanted another step up because I was getting to like more senior football. And then at 16, I went to Notts County. So they were in the WSL at the time. And again, I needed a challenge. It was a huge step up. I think I was the next youngest player when I was at Notts County. I think they were like mid-20s. So I remember it was hard, to be honest. Like, I lacked a lot of confidence when I played there, but it was good for me at the time as well because I could literally cycle to training. It's just down the road because I live in the south, like Ruddington, it's a little village outside of Nottingham at the minute. So that was good for me because then I could get back and study for my A-levels. And then after that's when I went to America.
Yeah, you joined USC Trojans, am I right? You spent 3 years there. Obviously that was your college football, wasn't it? What was it like going from England to America, Ashleigh, as a player? How is the football over there? Is it any different or is it more difficult?
I always say to people when I talk about America, I think I was a little bit ignorant at the time to think it was going to be just like England. I thought, like, I went over there and I knew it's very different, but I went over there thinking, you know, they speak English and the football's really popular. How hard can it be? My first year was a huge adjustment. I'll be honest, it was really hard. I think because I worked just as hard in school as I did at football, I struggled with getting accustomed to their education system out there. So when I was here, my A-levels were all like science-based, and I hated writing essays, I hated English, and I just did exams, and I was fine with that. Like, I loved studying for exams. And I went over there, and out there, all the classes are like my major was human biology, but I had to take like writing classes, maths, French, and I'm like, I wanted to avoid all that pretty much. But my first class out there in summer, it was like, the name of the class was like research on urban gangs in LA. And I had to write a 10-page paper. And I'm like, I've never written one before. And I like stressed myself out a lot. So that was hard. Yeah, the educational side was difficult. And then football wise, I knew that it was very athletic. I've kind of always prided myself on my athleticism. And to be honest, in England, I had a lot of people come at me for that, because I would say that I was an athlete first, footballer second.
Yeah.
And in the English, like in England, a lot of girls predominantly grow up, well, when I was younger, they grow up just playing with their friends or their brothers or at school, and they're more like footballers, where I was kind of like, I was one of those athletes that played a lot of different sports. So for me, I knew going to America, I wanted to have the foundation of being fit and having a good level of strength so that I could just concentrate on football. And that put me in good stead, to be honest. Like when I joined USC, they had a really, like, I still speak to her now, like my S&C coach out there, which is like strength and conditioning. One of the best people I've ever met. You know, like everything is very like regimented, but I liked it like that. Like the attention to detail was like unbelievable in terms of just, this helped as well. Like obviously you're young and you're trying to be independent, and this like S&C coach she put everything down to like punctuality, and like when we did anything, everybody had to do it the same. And it's like somebody didn't in a fitness drill like touch the line, everybody would go again. But because it was like a collective understanding of, you know, we're in this together, nobody really like, everybody would like kill themselves to make sure that they like made the line or did everything properly. I think partly is down to a fear factor as well, because our like coaches out there are a little bit scary. But I like that a lot. I did like that, and then that kind of, it helped me as a person as well, because obviously I was away from home. I had some family out there, but it's not like having your parents and your siblings. So I grew up pretty quick when I was out there, and the football stuff was in terms of the football, like I said, it was very athletic, but I think people have this idea that in America they don't understand like tactical things. But my coaches were very like almost like too attention, like there was too much attention to detail at times. I think I always put it down to, for me, I learned how to be a defender out there. I learned, when people talk about the art of defending, there definitely is. And I learned that when I was out there, and now I would say since I've been home, I'm now being like, I'm being molded as a, so I learned how to be a defender out there, but now I'm being like the little tiny things that make a big difference as you get up a level is what I'm learning. Because when I played in America, I was almost like told how to play. Like I didn't get to think for myself, whereas now I'm being challenged more, because I have to like make my own decisions, which is weird because you think in football you would just do that. But I would put that down to the American way of do this, this, this. And that's not how football works. It's not black and white, is it?
You then moved to LA Galaxy, didn't you? While you was over there, you played for them. They've obviously got a good men's team, haven't they, over in the MLS as well, haven't they, Ashleigh? You then came back to England to reignite with Leicester City in 2019. Obviously, I think one of the seasons when you joined, obviously COVID took its part, didn't it? Quite frankly, you then came up from the 3rd division to the 2nd division, where you then won the championship with Leicester City, having made 25 appearances that season. You then scored against Sheffield United in a 2-1 win, which was quite good. How did it feel scoring for your hometown club in them sort of circumstances, Ashleigh? Obviously, I think the crowd wasn't there, was they? So how did it feel actually getting a goal for you the first time?
I don't know if you've seen the video of me when I did score, but it's almost like an element of surprise. Like I kind of just jump up in the air. It was like the weirdest thing. You can tell I don't score very often because I don't really know how to celebrate. But yeah, it was really cool. And I think, we have this kind of running joke in the team because we have so many corners. And for some reason, like last year, I just could never connect with headers like very well. And then the hardest one I could probably score, where I could probably have just used my foot, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, that was a good diving header," and I'm like, I don't really call it a diving header because my feet were kind of on the floor at the time. But it felt really cool because, like I said, I don't score very often. And then I think as well, it was the game that it was, because Sheffield United are a good side, and it's always a tight game with them. So the fact we went, I don't remember if they scored first or we did, but it ended 2-1. So it was cool. And then my celebration was just kind of, first I kind of I was basically looking for my friend. So you kind of see me like look around, and then I like the people on the side, like it was obviously there was no fans, but I looked over to the subs and I kind of like put my hands in the air, and then you see me like look like this because I'm trying to look for my friend as well, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like the whole point of celebrating is to celebrate with people. So obviously if you don't have the fans, it's a little bit hard, but I was just trying to find people. You can tell I'm not used to scoring. Hopefully I can score a few more and learn how to celebrate.
At the end of that season, you were also voted Players' Player of the Season. How did that feel? Yeah,
that was a huge surprise. I actually remember I was in York with my grandma when I got the call saying, I remember the call because it was our general manager saying like, Ashley won this award and you're gonna have to come to like Seagrave or something. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, like obviously it felt really cool, but I never really expected it. I don't even know what to say about it really. Obviously, again, it's really nice because it's nice that the players can recognise whatever it was for. Like I don't even know if it was necessarily just me playing. I'd like to think that like I get along with everybody on the team, so to speak. Like I just kind of roam around. I mean, I do my own thing, but I'm friendly with everybody. So it was nice to have been recognised. And I think sometimes I'm not necessarily that outspoken at times at football. I like to think sometimes my actions speak louder than words. So maybe that was the reason. I don't know. I know you didn't ask me to figure out why, but yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, you guys went on and won the championship last season, didn't you? How did that feel, winning that season? Obviously, you guys were fantastic that season. Watching some of the football, obviously, Flinty was good. The whole togetherness of the squad, how much they actually deserved it was tremendous in a way. How did it feel for you guys, knowing that you've actually won the championship last season?
Yeah, do you know what? It was like, it was weird because the season felt really long but really short. I think because of COVID, it was kind of like stop-start at times, and we moved to different training facilities before we moved into Viva Drive. It was really cool. I think especially when we got towards the end. To be honest, I think the Durham away was the pinnacle in terms of, you know what, this is in our hands now, because it got really tight at the top, and then from there on, it was almost being like, you know what, like I said, this is in our hands, but like, do you know what, I'm gonna retract that a little bit, because you know when I was saying about going out at the King Power on Sunday, and you don't really realise things when you're in it because you just do it. And that's what footballers do. Do you know what I mean? You have a game and you do it, your game, do it. But then after you, like, when you've played a certain game or you've reached a certain point, you reflect on it and you're like, you know, you realise what you've managed to do. So I think, like Durham, we knew we needed to win. And then it happened and we celebrated it afterwards. But then it's like, okay, what's the next game? Because the whole point is, the end goal is to win the league. So you always have to focus on the next thing. So it wasn't really until you couldn't really celebrate anything. Even like when we won the league, we obviously had a celebration, but then we still had to play a couple games after that, and then we still had lose, and we still had Charlton. So it's not until you can really get to the end of the season, and almost like when you're done with football and you have the break before pre-season, that you're like, okay, we just did this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let's briefly touch on your international career. You started with the England setup from the under-15s to the under-23s. You then went on to Nigeria. Tell us about the Nigeria call-up and how it came about.
Yeah, so I always focus on one thing at a time because I like to put everything into whatever I'm doing. So when I was at USC, my coach brought up Nigeria to me because he knew the coach as well. Because the coach of the Nigerian team, Randy, he's American. He asked me, he was like, would you want to play for them now? And honestly, not because I think the reason I wasn't ready was because I knew what it meant. Like, I'm not just going to play for Nigeria almost like for the sake of play. Obviously, it's a huge privilege, but I'm not just going to go there just to go there. And I felt like at the time, I really wanted to do well with USC. And I actually, if I'm completely honest as well, like when I was at USC, I never, the first 2 years, my plan wasn't to play professional football. I was planning on going the medical route. It was only my last 2 years where I thoroughly enjoyed playing. And I realized how much I put into football. And I thought, if I didn't play professional football after, I would regret it. And now, I've said this to a few people, I feel like I am where I'm meant to be. And the fact that, even when I joined Leicester, there was a potential to play with Nigeria then as well. And people have asked me, what do you just, is it because, you always get this, is it because you can't get in with England or anything? But I had the potential to play with them before, not that it was consistent, but I had the opportunity. But like I said, I just wasn't ready. And I feel like I have to do things for a reason. So when I first joined Leicester, I'm the one aim I had was to win the championship with them. And I didn't want anything to almost impact me and how well I could help the team in achieving that. And then last year, obviously we had lockdown and I wasn't playing football because we were obviously, the league had stopped. And I was thinking I always ask this, why I do something, why do I play football for Leicester? You can pick different teams. I play Leicester because it means something to me. And then during lockdown, I went through a period of being with my sister a lot and having a lot of conversations about our heritage. And I vividly remember as soon as we won the league as well with Leicester, I was thinking about what was next. And obviously we're going to the WSL, but then I was thinking, what else can I do? This was after the chats I've had with my sister and learning more about my heritage and speaking to my granddad. What can I do? And do I feel ready to do something that means something more than just football? And then, managed to get my dad got in contact with the head coach. And it was nerve-wracking, but I felt like I was ready because I had this inner drive to represent something bigger than me, and not just bigger than me, but for me, I was doing, it's a journey I'm almost on with my family. And I've been brought up, I'll be honest, very English, but I am, in spite of that, I'm very proud to be Nigerian, and I'm proud that my sister feels such a strong affinity to her heritage. And it's a cool thing because obviously for me, family is everything, and my sister is a big part of my life and the reason I do things. So it was a really cool experience when I was out there, and they've actually just met up now. They've got a cup, like a tournament going on in Africa at the minute. I'm still trying to sort out documentation and stuff, but my experience out there was really cool, and I learned a lot, not just football but just culturally as well.
Yeah,
I see that you've signed a contract in June to take you through with Leicester till 2023. Would you like that to go further, or is that something you'll consider when that time comes?
Yeah, like I said, everything I do, I just take it one step at a time. Right now, I think I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I love that I can wear the Foxes badge on my chest, and hopefully with that, I can do as much as I can while I'm here, and then we'll see after the 2 years what happens.
Yep. Guys, if you're watching, smash a like. If you've got any questions for Ashleigh, get them in the comment section. She'll answer them. Ashleigh, let's move on to the WSL then. Obviously, it wasn't a great afternoon for Leicester on Sunday, losing 3-1 to Manchester United. Ella Toone opened the scoring where banger from distance. Quite quickly after half-time, the corner came in. We didn't deal with it. Forrest Dotter scored. I think she was the person who came on for the injured player quite early on in the game. And then Abby McManus scored from a corner. Goal line technology. Man United would have been arguing that one, but it did cross the line. And then Martha Thomas finished us off, which took kind of a ricochet. It was like the Sionchu goal against Manchester City, where it just took that ricochet and she was in the right place at the right time to finish us off. Kirsty Lavelle then made some fantastic saves. We thought she was injured in the first half, having gone down, but she carried on quite strongly and made some fantastic saves in the second half. Jess Sigsworth, non-stop runner, fantastic striker. I'm just waiting for Jess to bundle the goals into the net. How did you find it against Manchester United, and how difficult was it, and what kind of challenge and things did you actually learn from the game, what you can take into the game against West Ham next week?
Yeah, I think I have to give a lot of respect to them. They have a set style of play, and I think their movements especially were things that were hard for us to deal with. I'd say obviously we're new to this league, and we're still trying to settle in a sense, because it is a big step up from Championship, one that we are more than capable of being a part of. But it's just, for us, we just have to take the lessons, we've gone over the game. And it was interesting because while we might not have had as much possession, I think, like you said, what we do have is a threat going forward.
Yeah.
So the last time we played Man U, again, I'm assuming they had more possession than us, but we ended up beating them because they were clinical. So it's the times that we do have the chances to try and be clinical in that sense. And then from a defensive point of view, just making sure that we're all on the same page. I think there were some of the things that they did, I guess, confused us at times, and we weren't quick enough to adapt. But that's what we're going to come up against when we come up against top opposition like Man U. So it's great for us, because what we do as a team very well is reflect on the game very honestly. People take accountability, like we do unit meetings from a defender point of view. We take accountability for what we did wrong, and then we have discussions over what we can do better next time. And nobody feels like they have to hide from a mistake or anything like that. So it's obviously very disappointing. We are a super competitive group, and we want to win. Like I said, we said this before we even started the season. We don't just want to be in the league, we want to compete. But it's, like I said, very early days, and I think the lessons that we've learned already while we've got losses, because we've been so accountable for what we've done, when we go into the next game, like you said, West Ham, we shouldn't be making the same mistakes, because we don't really have an excuse anymore, because we've learned and we're putting into practice what we need to be better at in training.
Yeah, I mean, you guys coming up from the championship level into the big league at the WSL, you always knew it was going to be difficult and a challenge that you guys relished and you was ready for to take on. You're a tight-knitted group and you're together, you fight and battle. I mean, the Aston Villa game, we was lucky to lose that very much. So I thought we was the better team. We worked hard and it showed the qualities really there. I mean, the Manchester United side, it's different gravy, isn't it? They're very difficult. They're a very hard team to break down. I mean, they've got such energy, haven't they, Ashleigh? I mean, in that second half, the amount of energy they had to run from the halfway line to our box, and then the amount of chances they created. I guess as a defender, you've got to stay switched on, haven't you? You can't sit there and switch off at the wrong periods of the game in this division.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you can't have any complacency whatsoever. Because teams are clever and they can figure out where your holes are. Maybe in the championship, we could afford to maybe not be switched on all the time. I'm saying that, but I don't necessarily think we were switched off. But I just think in the WSL, you have to be aware of not just what the people are doing around you. It's, do you know what they've changed, how they're attacking? They're changing who they want their main threat to be, and we have to adapt to that all the time. Whereas it was almost like championship, as a unit and as a team, you can just shift together and it works. But now we have one person stepping up here, so how do we cover for this person? And it might not always be a positional thing, it's more of a personnel thing.
Yeah, we're very good battlers, aren't we? Shannon O'Brien, the Wilfred Ndidi of the Leicester City Women, she's not afraid to get stuck in. If you've watched Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester, Shannon O'Brien reminds you of him. Not afraid to take the challenge. She'll take anybody. It don't matter how big they are or whatever. They getting away from her. She'll battle until the end. It proved it against Aston Villa. And I was looking forward to seeing that against Manchester United at the weekend. I mean, the Man United game are always going to be difficult, but we take so many positives. It's a learning curve this season. You know, you've got to play them twice. So you learn in the first game and then you go again after. You know, it's how you adapt to this division and how confident in ability you are as a team. And obviously you girls are a confident bunch, and I think you guys will stay up this season for sure. You've shown numerous of points this season where you think, you know what, we're very good at that, and we're very technical, very direct, and we know where we want to be at the end of the season. Abby McManus then scored the first home goal in the WSL, which goes down as a record. Who was your Leicester City Women's Woman of the Match then, Ashleigh, if you had to pick one?
Either Kirsty or Jess Sigsworth, I'd say. Yeah, I think Kirsty made a few really good saves. I think the game could have been very different without that. And like you said, and it's very obvious, it's nice because some things are obvious to us as players, but if it's very obvious to fans as well, that means she's doing something right. Jess Sigsworth is a complete workhorse. She works really hard, great work ethic, and I think that should be something that gets all the other players going. I think the same as with Shannon. If you see Shannon making a 25-yard sprint to track somebody down and winning the ball, you want to be able to do that for them as well. So I think Jess Sigsworth is the epitome of that, and it's not a one-off. She's consistently like that. So she'll turn up to training and be like that every single day.
Yeah, we're not just one player. Certain players are we? We're a unit. We come as a package, and we're not going to be scared of anybody in this division. The attendance then, 4,473. The attendance at the weekend, which is fantastic to see. Other results, Aston Villa obviously drawing against West Ham. Chelsea battered Everton. They seem to be struggling a bit this season. Everton, Birmingham again getting battered. They got beat against Brighton at the weekend. Arsenal hammered Reading away, and the controversial decision in the Manchester City game, the handball, Ashley. I don't know if you've seen it, but Tottenham won it because of that decision, which should have really been rolled out, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what? When I saw it, I was thinking I would hate to have been that player. I would have hated it because, I don't know, even I would never want to, I don't know, be in a position where obviously you want to win, you do everything to win, but things happen, and I guess they got the win, but it's just, if you're on the losing team, you feel really hard done by.
If it was Leicester, you'd be getting angry, wouldn't you, if it was Man United doing that to us at the weekend?
Yeah, that's probably the time where I would come at the ref. Who knows?
I think we all try that as fans, Ashley, you know, at the King Power Stadium in the men's game. The referee's not your best friend. You just got to accept the decision and move on, haven't you? Especially, don't matter how much abuse you give them from the stands. It's the whole where the game and the referee takes it in the ear quite a lot, no matter how many decisions he gives wrong or for your team. I guess it's just the way. Debut for Mackenzie Smith then at the weekend, 16 years old, coming into a very experienced Leicester City side.
Yeah, Mac is a brilliant young talent, if I'm honest. I remember being her age and not having the confidence that she has. I was very fearful, if I'm honest, at that age, but she's come in, and you know what, in terms of fitness, she can be a lot of us. Like, she's, again, a complete athlete, and I think she'll do really well if she continues doing what she's doing. I think she's very open to learning and learning from the people around her. And I guess it's hard because she is, while we do have a lot of young girls coming through, she was like one of the first. So she did come in alone in a sense, and she's like I said, only 16. I think not long turned 16, and she just fits in perfect with us.
Yeah, I mean, we had quite a lot of injuries at the weekend, didn't we? Barks out, Shannon O'Brien out, Hannah Kane out, who just missed out on the Wales call as well, having been called up there. Connie's out as well. Abby Grant's out. The injuries just kept building up for us, didn't it? Game from the Aston Villa game onwards. Obviously, Connie and Abby was injured before then. But it's hard missing them certain players. Obviously, Barks, the captain, she's a leader on the pitch, isn't she? She don't let no player give up, and she'll tell you when you're doing wrong. Yeah,
it's, and I think because she's right in the middle of the pitch as well, it's something that we obviously miss. It has been weird. I said to her today, well, I have joked with her before about, like, when we do small-sided games and things, she always seems to be on the winning team. And I guess that can't be luck because it's all the time. Like, if I get given the pink bib to go on her team, I'm like, okay, we should be winning today. So it's, something that we've missed. But, you know, even though she's not playing, she's still, for me, she's still chatting to me and giving me advice. She's obviously older than me and has more experience than me. So even though she's not playing, she'll still give advice, even though she's on the sidelines at the minute.
I think that's great, isn't it? Obviously, Wes Morgan weren't playing much for Leicester City in the end. He gave that experience. It's the knowledge, isn't it, Ashley? Obviously, if somebody else is captain, it's good to get in their ear and say, you know what, this is where you can improve your game and this is how you can perform at the highest of levels. Next up in the WSL then for Leicester City is West Ham United away. They're struggling as well, aren't they, Ashley? These are the games really we should be looking at and thinking, you know what, we can get points out of these games. I know it's not going to be easy, but you've got to relish the challenge and take it with both hands.
Yeah, 100%. With the international break, we get a few. Yeah, that we've got like Sophie Howard on international duty and things. So it's not like we have like the whole squad at the minute. So we have this week to like kind of put the Man U game to bed. We do all the analysis on that, and then it's nice because we almost have like more preparation time in readiness for that game. So I think when it does come round to it, we should be like fully prepared. Totally ready for it. And I think it will be nice as well for us to go on an away trip where we're not just like going to Birmingham, because it's not that far. So we'll stay down there, and it will give us a chance to get closer as a team as well. So I think, it will be more than ready when it comes round to it.
Yeah, is that at the London Stadium?
I don't know.
Dagenham and Redbridge.
Oh,
It's their football ground. I think the ladies, the girls will look at the game at the weekend and think, you know what, we need to move on from this. There's areas where we can improve as a team. Jonathan, he took his jacket off quite a lot on that touchline at the weekend. He was getting angry, he was getting frustrated. But that's Jonathan is a manager, innit? He's going to expect that. I guess he's like that as a football fan when the referee gives the bad decisions, or it's not the player that he wanted to bring on. Like, I don't know, say Vardy should have stayed on the pitch and Iheanacho came on at the wrong time in the game. I'm sure he'll let that know. But what's Jonathan like as a person, Ashleigh, in the changing room? What's he like with the group and that? And how does he make you feel at home?
Yeah, I think what you said there I didn't know he was taking his jacket off a lot, but one thing you can tell with Jonathan is he just wants to win. He's fully invested in the team, and all he wants is for us to come out winning. He's an ultimate competitor, and he'll do whatever it takes to win. And sometimes as a manager, that's hard. You have to make tough decisions. You have 101 things to do, and to keep a team together and successful. Obviously, we've had players out injured. We've played different formations already. And that's pretty hard. But like you said, he'll do anything he can to win, and he'll emphasise that in the changing room as well. And the one thing he's actually done last couple of games, obviously we've come out with losses, and a manager could come in and literally just let their emotions get the better of them and just come at everybody, and just be almost like irrational.
Yeah.
And while emotions are a big part of the game, I think what he's good at is pinpointing, like allowing his frustrations to come out, rightly so. I don't think you should ever suppress them, but pinpointing what needs to be better and encouraging people to be accountable. And the one thing with him is if you respect him, then he'll respect you back. And I think you look at some of the best managers in the game, you'll see that it's the players that respect the manager. There's a reason for it, because at the end of the day, you're not always going to like what you hear, but they're fair judgments.
It's about making you feel better in yourself, isn't it? I know football can be a very frustrating game at times, but like I said to him after the game, when you're on that touchline, it's a completely different game to when you're a season ticket holder at the football club. It's completely different. You're managing a team. It's like FIFA, you want to improve every season and win that title. And then when it doesn't come, you get annoyed and you think, how do I be better in each game and what sort of team do I pick? But you can only pick what you've got available, can't you, Ashleigh, in football? So I guess it's the tough decisions what come with it being a manager. It's hard work and very stressful job. Ashleigh, next game then at King Power Stadium, Leicester City take on Tottenham Hotspurs. The floor's yours. Promote the game for us. Get more fans to come and watch.
This is why I'm a footballer. I can never be a promoter. Do you know what? The fans at the game that we've just played were absolutely unbelievable. And I remember coming home and saying to my family, like, the one thing, obviously, you enjoy playing football and you love the occasion. But for me, what literally made my day, whether we would have won, drawn or lost, was being able to like interact with some of the fans and especially the kids, For me, the one thing that stood out for me, to be honest, was the little boy who came to me and asked me to sign his shirt. It's not just I know we're encouraging young girls to get involved, but it's not just young girls, it's everybody. You know, like this little boy's come with his mum or dad, you know, and he's not, all he's seeing is this person plays for Leicester and this is my club. He's not thinking this is Jamie Vardy. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So that was, it was really nice. And I think, like you said, you can be upset or frustrated or feel however you want to after a game, especially if you lose. But if you have people there that, you know, make it worthwhile in terms of like gives you a purpose, then it's.
Can I just quickly say?
My stepmom's.
Can I just quickly say that there were supporters there from season ticket holders of the men's game.
Oh.
Because my client's a season ticket holder. She was there.
Maybe my son can be the promoter.
There you go. Do that.
I'm already making sure they're pronouncing the name correctly.
Make sure they do that. You can't be having spelling names wrong or saying it wrong. People get offended. Ashleigh, I know your surname comes is like Plumptre in it, but people would call you Plumptre or something like that. Yeah, it's just like it's the way it comes across. But guys, I definitely recommend you guys go and get a season ticket for the women. It's only £40. It's cheap, really, and it's very enjoyable. I've got the experience to go and watch the women against Aston Villa and Manchester United at home. It's just incredible, the atmosphere, watching them play. It's a together club, and if you can't get a season ticket, go and get a ticket. It's £7 a game, depending what age bracket you are. But they start from £2. So yeah, go and get a ticket. Go and support the girls. They need all the support they can get this season, and let's go and push them on and make sure they get them results that we need and get safety at the end of the season. Ashleigh, it's been a pleasure speaking to you and having you on. Hopefully we'll get you on again soon.
No, thank you. No, it's been great. I just can't believe how many things you managed to know about me, more than I know about myself.
It all comes as part of the job.
That's why we're not footballers.
I know. But no, it's been great. It's been a pleasure having you on. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and it's been a great chat. And I will see you at the West Ham game on the 26th of September.
Yeah, brilliant. Can't wait to see you there.
I take it was Untitled that stole your top knot idea.
Obviously.
That's what I thought.
But no,
it's been great to meet you, Ashleigh.
Yes, you too.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Ashleigh. And I'll see you on the 26th.
See you then. Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Right, Mark. Great guest, Ashleigh Plumptre.
Great guest.
A lot learned, Mark, more than we thought. But, you know, it's a whole part of the WSL Weekly show, and we'll get different people on, guests, and it's great to learn what we don't know, Mark. And Ashleigh's such a great guest, and really enjoyed having her on. Let's have a look then, Mark. What's coming up on Leicester Fan TV this week? So on Wednesday, I'll be back again for the Away Fan Chat show. We'll be previewing the Europa League game against Napoli. I'll be doing my research on the Serie A opponents. We've got the Premier League prediction show on Thursday, 6 p.m. instead of 7:30 because of the Europa League, so join us for that. We've got the pre-match show with Reedy. He'll be talking all things Leicester and looking ahead to the Brighton game on Sunday. The watch-along will be on Sunday with Michael and Ross and whoever's doing it from 2 p.m. on Sunday. So join us for that. And then we've got the aftermath show, the legendary one with Mr. Jamie Preston himself at 9:30 in the morning. So join Jamie for that just before the Brighton game. And let's go and talk football. Guys, if you haven't already, follow us at Leicester Fan TV on Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. It'd be much help. We're nearly at 8K, so let's go and get that target. Thank you to these guys, ADT, Hologram, Tiger, Peter, Pizzeria, Pucker Pies, Pinky Leasing, Leicester Riders, the Foxes Arms, Newbie and Cohen, Hope Against Cancer. Right then, Mark, it's been a pleasure having you on. Great guest as always. And I will see you around.
Yeah, okay then, pal. See you all. Take care. Enjoy.
See you in a bit, Mark. Right, guys, before I go, smash a like for me on this video if you've really enjoyed the show tonight. It's Ashleigh Plumptre again. Very great guest. Love the positivity in that. Subscribe to Leicester Fan TV if you haven't already. Share it around. And I will see you tomorrow for the away fan chat show. Like Mark Gatwood says, great captain, amazing leader. Yeah. I'll join you. No, you join me for the away fan chat show tomorrow. It's 7:30. Bye-bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you tomorrow for the away fan chat show. Take care, guys. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.